Yo, what's going on guys? Saffron here. So the Wano arc is fast approaching and many theories have started popping up about it. But today I've got a theory about who I think may return in the Wano arc, Gekko Moria, and why he would return in the first place, and also how his return would benefit the Straw Hat Alliance in the fight against Kaido. I've actually had this theory for a year, but anyway, before we get started, let's confirm that Gekko Moria is still alive. In Marineford, the Flamingo tried to kill Moria after receiving orders to do so from the world government, most likely from this dude from CP0. However, Moria actually managed to survive somehow, and according to Mihawk, he was still alive at the end of the war, which the Flamingo confirmed when he said to the CP0 guy that Moria somehow vanished. Now that that's out of the way, let's proceed to the theory. So basically, I think that Gekko Moria will actually return in the Wano arc, but let's just step back a moment though. Why would Moria even come to Wano in the first place? Well, you guys probably remember that Moria had beef with Kaido. In fact, according to some pirates who had their shadow stolen by Moria, Kaido and Moria were actually once equals who battled together in the past. But anyway, back in Thriller Bark, Moria revealed that his entire crew was killed by Kaido in the New World. This event basically fucked up his mind so much, to the point that he wanted to create a zombie army to replace his dead crew members, who he clearly was attached to. He even stated several times that he despised Kaido. So if he does actually theoretically return in the Wano arc, it would obviously probably be because he would want to get revenge. Something else worth noting though is the fact that Moria wanted to become Pirate King himself, and in order to do so, he would have to defeat the Yonkos. So that could help support my theory that he'll return in the Wano arc, because he would not only want to get revenge on Kaido, but he could also be trying to defeat him on his way to becoming Pirate King. Furthermore, last year I made a video where I talked about the possibility that Moria created his zombie army, specifically zombie Oz, in order to possibly mirror Kaido's Smiley army, or Kaido himself, so that he could use them to defeat Kaido. Now obviously, he's too weak to defeat Kaido, and he probably knows this himself. But I'll talk more about this in a moment, so bear with me guys. Anyway, if he wants revenge, I can actually picture Moria joining the Anti-Kaido alliance, which includes the Straw Hats, the Samurais, hopefully the rest of the Whitebeard Pirates, and potentially some of the Supernovas too. Again, I talked about the possibility of there being a Supernova alliance going against Kaido in Wano in the video I made last year too. However, we all know how unpredictable Oda is, so it probably won't be as simple as that. Though I have to say that given that Luffy has a tendency to make his past enemies become his allies, for example Crocodile and Buggy, I personally wouldn't call this idea far-fetched. There's also the fact that most of the original warlords are now on good terms with Luffy and the Straw Hats, with some of them being friends, allies and even lovers of Luffy, and with Mihawk being Zoro's ex-master as well as an admirer of Luffy, even though he did try to stop Luffy in Marineford. That leaves out the Flamingo and Moria as the only warlords who aren't on good terms with Luffy. But Dofi is currently imprisoned, so Moria is the only one who was part of the original warlords who doesn't have a good relationship with Luffy yet. This makes me think that at some point in the future, Luffy and Moria could set aside their differences and develop a good relationship, which in my theory could be during the Wano arc, where Moria may theoretically become an ally in the fight against Kaido. I mean, they do share a common enemy. Besides, if Luffy objects to this alliance, I can picture him being convinced by Jinbei or someone else to actually go through with it. This actually happened in the current Whole Cake Island arc, when Jinbei told Luffy and Sanji to form an alliance with Capone, so it's not far-fetched. Now, like I said before, you may argue that Moria is a weakling since he was defeated by a pre-time skip Luffy, and so that he wouldn't be of any significant help in the fight against Kaido. But realistically guys, if Luffy had actually fought Moria when he was at his prime, back when Moria was equal with Kaido before Kaido became powerful, I doubt that Luffy would have stood a proper chance in winning against him. The only reasons that Moria lost to Luffy were because of two things, I think. Firstly, something which Jinbei noted in the anime was that Moria was weaker than he should be because he stopped training. Even though I think this wasn't in the manga, it's actually true. And this is confirmed by the fact that, as Moria noted himself, Moria relies on others to do his work and to become Pirate King, while he sits by So basically, he's lazy and he doesn't train, letting others do his work for him, which could be a reason that he lost to Luffy. Secondly, Moria was defeated because of his own stupidity. You might remember that the form that Moria took when he was defeated by Luffy was the Shadows Asgard form. He entered his form by absorbing 1000 shadows, which led to him becoming overloaded with shadows, which allowed Luffy to defeat him by taking advantage of this fact and forcing Moria to spit out all of the shadows, finally defeating him. If Moria didn't act stupid and absorb all of those shadows, he wouldn't have been beaten by Luffy this way. So what I'm basically trying to say is that Luffy was able to defeat Moria because of Moria's refusal to train and Moria's stupidity. Therefore, if Moria actually did train and was as strong as he was in his prime, he would have probably beaten Luffy. I mean, come on, Moria was once a New World pirate who was once considered equal to Kaido before Kaido somehow became stronger. Anywho, this brings me to my next point. I think that what happened in Marineford, with Moria almost being killed by Doflamingo under CP0's order, it could have theoretically made Moria realise how much of a weakling he's become. I personally think that Oda was trying to make us, as readers, sympathise with him. So what if, speculation wise, during the 2-year time skip, Moria was training to become stronger so that he wouldn't be humiliated again and so that he could possibly get revenge on Kaido. Also, what if he's been recreating his zombie army in the 2 years as well? I can potentially see a fight between his zombie army and the Smiley army, but this is just speculation though. I mean, 2 years is a long time. If Luffy learnt Haki and developed new forms and techniques in 2 years, I can picture Moria having also gotten a lot stronger. What if he mastered Omnant Haki during the 2 years? Sort of like Bellamy. Also, given that those with Conqueror's Haki have been captains, rulers or kings so far in the series, which I've talked about previously on my channel, I wouldn't be surprised if Moria actually awakened Conqueror's Haki as well. We also know that Moria has strong durability as well as a lot of willpower, since he wasn't knocked out by Luffy's Haki in Marineford and since he was able to sustain 1000 shadows inside him, albeit for a short while. So if Moria actually did train in these 2 years, just like Luffy, I suspect that Moria also became even more powerful. But to be honest, I doubt that even with training, Moria would be able to individually stand up to Kaido, which is why I see him helping the rest of the alliance with defeating Kaido. Kaido is just too strong. Again guys, Oda is unpredictable as fuck, as we've seen in the current Whole Cake Island arc. So I don't think it will be as simple as Moria just joining the alliance, if he does show up. Alternatively, I've heard some theories that Gekko Moria is actually one of Blackbeard's 10th Titanic captains, which I think would be really surprising. However, Moria isn't the type of guy to work under others. Like I said before, he wants to become Pirate King himself, so I doubt he would work under someone else who wants to become Pirate King, i.e. Blackbeard. I can see him being an ally, but probably not an underling. Anyway, that's it from me for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, I would appreciate it if you could like and share the video, and also as always guys, thank you for watching and have a good day.